Hi, chat. How we doing? I hope we're doing okay. I hope it's running all right. This is the first YouTube live, as well as the first live stream specifically for Project Apothecary. So I hope it's running not too great. Hi, Vox. Hi. So many cool people here early. So many cool people. Here we go. Before we start, how does everyone like the new model? Yeah! I got an outfit specifically for Project Apothecary. I'm great. Almost done with the work today. Yeah, yeah. So pretty. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, yeah. I found that there was this model for the bun, and it worked so well. It's actually kind of like perfect for the vibes. But with that being said, today is going to be a little different, just a little bit. I apologize in advance if I don't read too much chat. That's the bottom. Oh, I don't have a chat on this overlay. Chat box. There we go. There we go. You guys are back. I didn't have a chat box on this overlay because the last stream was on YouTube. Okay, so yes. So thank you everyone for the follows. I see Velvet T a couple of hours ago. Thank you so much. And thank you TG Gannon, and thank you Piper. Thank you so much. Hi, excited for the stream. Hi. Okay, so I'm getting sidetracked. So today's going to be a little different. What we're going to be doing is for those who are fans of Studio Reverie, or those who saw the last stream, you'll kind of know how this works. I will undeafen in the Discord. We will be introducing ourselves. We maybe do a little bit of banter, maybe not. We'll see how the cast is feeling, and then we will be jumping straight into the chapters. So yes, this is, if you can, as you can see, this is a new project that I'm starting. It's over on YouTube. Mainly YouTube is the main home of this project. There is going to be extra not streams, extra videos posted over there. Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna be having these guys voice some of the lovely characters in Apothecary. We'll be reading to you all. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I hope you all enjoy. And I think I'm ready. Okay. Okay. You are live. How you guys doing? We Yeah, are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, so what we'll do is what we'll do yeah. What we'll do is we'll go top down. We'll start with Ash and end with TLD. And we'll just introduce ourselves, who you are, who you voice in the project itself, and also who you'll be voicing for today. I'll be posting the list of characters and what we're doing in the call chat for those who don't have the document up. But yeah, we'll start with you, Ash.
Gwen, and I voiced Gwen through. I am like the voice of Gwen for this project. He only has one line here, but I'll voice that one line. Otherwise, I'm just gonna listen.
Next is Chi.
I am Chi. I'll be voicing Jinchi. Woo woo.
Woo!
Can't wait to be all
Whoa.
handsome.
Okay. Guess it's my turn. Greenie or Greenlords 91. I am honestly just here to help. I don't really have a role for this one.
And we love you for that, Greenie. Well, hi everyone. I am Carmen. I am the host of the stream. I am also your Mau Mau for today. Yeah. I hope everyone has some fun. Salty, you're next.
Yeah, okay. Hi, I'm Salty Mouse, and for this stream, I will be voicing Yinghua and an unnamed female courtesan. Yeah.
Woo!
Yay!
Uh,
You did great.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tealdi. Wait, I'm here above you. No!
Oh no!
Oh god.
Okay,
Wait,
so
wait,
we'll
go ahead.
do.
You want me started? Go.
Yeah, we'll do
Okay,
Ganon
okay.
and then Tealdi.
Sorry.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is TGT Ganon. I will be voicing one of the narrators in the Apothecary Diaries project. Thank you for watching. Listening.
Existing. Yay. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Hi, I'm back. It's Tealdi. Hello. I'm narrating today. I have characters I'm voicing, but holy crap, I have completely blanked on that. So it'll be as much of a surprise to me as it is to all of you. Yay, adventure!
You are Gyokyo and Honyan, by the way.
Gyokyo and Honyon. Okay.
Yep.
Gyokyo and Honyon.
Mhm.
Got it.
I checked them in the chat for this call.
Thank you.
All right. How's everyone feeling? Are we all ready to start, or do we need some time?
I'm ready.
I'm
Let's
ready
go.
if everyone else is ready.
Yeah. I'm doing okay, I see. All right. I'm doing 10 to 12 for narrating. Woo! Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good.
All right. With that being said, TG, since you're narrating the first 3 chapters, take us away. When you reach like you finish chapter 7 and do chapter 8, just keep reading. Just give it a little bit of a pause, and we'll just keep going
Got it,
since
okay.
the chapters are pretty short.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right. Whenever you are ready.
The 4 attendants who were there from the start were all very hard workers. Although the Jade Palace wasn't so large, it was almost run by the 4 of them. Bedroom duty, otherwise known as housekeeping maids, also came in. But the original task of cleaning the inside of the bedchamber was completed by the 4 attendants. By the way, this was outside the original scope of an attendant's job. And so, the only job left for the newcomer Mau Mau was to eat. She didn't know if they were feeling guilt from forcing the worst job onto her, or that they didn't want her to invade their territory. All the attendants, aside from Hanyun, didn't force Mao Mao to do work. Rather, they forced her out of the room with a gentle, "It's fine," when she came in with the intention to help.
I can't sit still.
Pushed into her small room, she was only called out twice for meals and afternoon tea, as well as to eat the nourishment dishes for the emperor, who visited once every couple of days. Once in a while, Hanyun would entrust some job to her, but they were all quick and easy tasks.
What is this? Eating and sleeping?
In addition to food tasting, her meals had become more extravagant. Tea parties had sweet pastries, where the leftovers were given to Mao Mao as well. She wasn't working hard like an ant, so that nutrition will become fat at this rate.
It's like I'm livestock.
Mao Mao wasn't suitable for the food taster role for one other reason. She had always been skinny. It was hard to know if her contact with poison had anything to do with it. Moreover, as the lethal dose depended on body weight, there was a higher chance of surviving just by being fat. It didn't mean that Mao Mao didn't know a poison that would make one skinnier. She had confidence that she could survive beyond lethal doses of poison, though it didn't seem like the people around her had the same views as her. The three attendants pitied Mao Mao, who apparently looked young with her short height and overly skinny frame, the poor disposable chess piece. They fed her kanji, piling on seconds even when she was already full. She was also served one more side dish than the others.
They remind me of the big sisters at the brothel.
Even though Mao Mao was such a quiet and unsociable thing, it was lacking that lovable charm. Why was it that the prostitutes doted on her? At every opportunity, they fed her meals, gave her sweets. By the way, what Mao Mao didn't realize was that there was a reason for her being doted upon. Mao Mao's left arm was covered in scars. Cuts, stabs, burns, pricks from being stabbed by needles. She was short, too skinny, and had countless injuries on her arms. Her arms were often bandaged. Occasionally, she went about pale-faced and fainting on the streets. Everyone held back tears, thinking that the girl was quiet and unsociable from the maltreatment she had sustained up until now. Everyone thought she was being abused, but the truth was different. Mao Mao had inflicted everything on herself. To study the effect of salves and drugs that stop inflammation, to gain resistance to poisons by gradually ingesting them. Sometimes she also got a venomous snake to bite her. There were times she got the dose wrong and fainted as a result. Consequently, this was why the injuries were all concentrated on her left arm and not her dominant arm. It wasn't that she had a masochistic self-harming hobby. She was just too much into satisfying her intellectual desire that she was quite different from very normal girls. The one who was extremely bothered by such a daughter was her dad. He was getting an unwarranted slander before he knew it, all despite having taught his own daughter medical knowledge and writing to give her another path outside of prostitution while living in the pleasure district. While he understood some of her motivations, he condemned most of it. He couldn't even think that his daughter, who was of age, would repeatedly harm herself for the sake of experiment. For such reasons, everyone thought she was a pitiful girl who, after being abused by her parents, was sold to the inner palace and made to become a disposable food taster. The person herself didn't know anything at all.
At this rate, I'll turn into a pig.
As Mao Mao thought of such things, a detestable visitor appeared before her. A young man with an otherworldly beauty was lit with a constant heavenly smile. The three attendants prepared tea for the visitor with flushed cheeks. Hearing a quarrel from the other side of the wall, it sounded like there was an argument on who will prepare it. The amazed Huanyuan prepared the tea herself and directed the three to return to their rooms. The food taster Mau Mau sniffed the contents of the silver teacup and held it in her mouth. She felt like running away from the gaze of Jin Shi, who had been staring intently at her for some time now. She squinted, trying to not meet his eyes. Being a young maiden, just by being looked at by a good-looking man, even if he was a eunuch, shouldn't feel bad. But it wasn't like that for Mau Mau. She drew a line, even though she was aware of Jin Shi's celestial maiden-like beauty, since her interests were so out of sync from other people.
This is something I received. Can you taste it for me?
There were steamed buns inside the basket. Mau Mau picked one up and split it apart. It was stuffed with minced meat and vegetables. When she sniffed it, it yielded a medicinal scent. It was the same as the tonic she ate the day before yesterday.
There's aphrodisiac in it.
You didn't even need to eat it to know.
It's not harmful for your health. Please take it back. Savor it.
No, when I think about the one who gave it to me, I really don't want to eat it.
Indeed. You might get a visitor this evening.
Jin Shi made an inexplicable expression at Mau Mau, who stated that nonchalantly. His reaction was different to what she had expected. He tried to make her eat the steamed bun while knowing it was spiked with an aphrodisiac. He should be grateful that she wasn't giving him the look she would give a pest. By the way, she wondered what kind of person he got those buns from. Consort Gyokyu laughed, her voice bell-like, at the two's banter. The sounds of Imperial Princess Rinri's sleeping accompanied her footsteps. Mau Mau bowed once and was prepared to leave the guest room.
Wait.
What do you require of me?
Jin Shi and Consort Gyokyu looked at each other and nodded. It appeared that they had settled on the main topic before Mau Mau came over.
Can you make me an aphrodisiac?
In an instant, Mau Mau's eyes shone with surprise and curiosity. Though she had no idea what use they had for that medicine, there was no mistaking that she was all too happy to prepare it. As Mau Mau fought back a smile, she said,
Time, ingredients, and utensils. If I can have those.
then I can make an aphrodisiac. What's the deal with this? He crossed his arms, willowy brows knitted in distress. It could be said that Jin Shi would cause the downfall of a country if he was a different gender. But if the person himself wished for so, the question of gender wouldn't even matter. Today as well, he had been consecutively called out by a middle-ranking consort and two low-ranking consorts from the inner palace, and a military officer and a civil official from the court. As the military officer had gone as far as giving him a dim sum laced with a tonic, Jin Shi will return to his own room in the palace and won't be attending his night shift today. It was for the sake of self-defense. He was not skipping out on work. He wrote down names on a scroll on the desk. The names were the consorts who called out to him today. Their cases were severe, seducing another man into their room and saying that it was because the emperor didn't visit them. Although there was no formal report, their sentence will be handed down hereafter. Do several of the caged birds know that his beauty was a test for the palace ladies? A consort's rank was chosen, while taking her parents' pedigree in consideration first, according to standards of intelligence and beauty. Intelligence was harder to determine compared to looks and pedigree. They were required to possess the appropriate culture to become an empress. Additionally, they must also have a sense of virtue. Jin Shi's unkind emperor decided to use him for the selection criteria. It was also Jin Shi who had recommended Consort Gyokyu and Consort Liwa. Consort Gyokyu was prudent and modest. Consort Liwa may have an emotional personality, but she also possessed the appropriate spirit of one who bowed down to no one. Both were loyal to the Emperor and held no wicked sentiment towards him. Consort Liwa, in particular, adored him with her whole heart. Jinshi's master was a cruel person. The Emperor arranged for consorts convenient to the country to produce children for him, and if they didn't have that ability, he'd cast them away. From now on, it will be Consort Gyokyu who will continue to receive his favor. The last time he visited Consort Liwa, who was now emaciated like a wraith, was when the crown prince had passed away. Aside from Consort Liwa, there were also several other consorts who had become unnecessary. Those consorts he returned to their family when he saw the chance and had them bestowed. Jinshi extracted one sheet from the pile of documents. Her name was Fuyu. She had a rank of primary 4th class, which is equivalent to a middle-ranking consort. The other day, this consort had been bestowed to a military officer who was merited with the repelling of a foreign tribe.
Well then, would it turn out smoothly?
There shouldn't be any problems if it was carried out according to the plan in his head. For that, maybe he could get some cooperation from that unsociable herbalist. Though people that don't regard him as a romantic partner weren't non-existent, it was the first time someone looked at him as though he was a pest. The person had probably planned to conceal it, but she wasn't able to completely mask that faint contempt in her eyes. He burst out laughing. Like nectar that had fallen from the heavens, his laughter also contained a hint of maliciousness. It wasn't like he was a masochist, but it was strangely amusing. It felt like he got a new toy.
What shall I do after this?
Jinshi, after leaving the documents under the inkstone, decided to sleep. He firmly locked the door so there will be no issues about visitors coming in at the dead of the night. Though the word panacea exists, there really isn't such an omnipotent medicine. There were times where Mao Mao was against her dad's sayings, too. She wanted to make medicine that was effective for any illness and any person. For that reason, she made wounds that turned people's eyes away. And though she had developed new medicine, it wasn't her aim to perfect an omnipotent medicine at the moment. The topic Jinshi brought up was interesting enough to Mao Mao, despite her being awfully displeased with it. Since coming into the inner palace, the only thing she could make was hydrangea tea. She had been surprised that medicinal herbs that could be used as ingredients were growing inside the inner palace. But she had endured it, seeing as she had no tools, and she wanted to avoid doing questionable things in a large room. The best thing about moving into the small room was for those reasons. Mao Mao went out to gather ingredient supplies, bringing a laundry basket along to mask her intentions. This was something she can now do, seeing as Hanyan had put her in charge of the laundry. She entered the medical office she had been told about before while pretending to come in to deliver laundry. Inside was that flustered doctor from before and the eunuch who usually accompanied Jinshi. The doctor appraised Mao Mao with his eyes, touching his thin loach mustache. It was as though he was saying, "Why is this little girl invading my territory?"
Refrain from staring at this ugly woman.
Compared to the doctor, the eunuch courteously guided Mao Mao as if he was attending to his master. Mao Mao let out the widest smile since coming to the inner palace when she walked into the room, which was enclosed by 3 walls of medicine shelves. Her face flushed, her eyes glistened, and her normally pursed lips drew a soft arc. She didn't care that the eunuch was looking at her in surprise. She surveyed the labels on the drawers, making a weird dance whenever she found rare drugs. She was overflowing with joy. Her mind couldn't be completely satisfied.
Is it a curse or what?
She had been repeating this action for nearly 1 hour. Jinshi, who appeared without her noticing, was looking at Mao Mao strangely. Mao Mao assembled the ingredients, which were arranged in drawers ordered from the edge. She bundled them into separate medicine bags and wrote down their names with a brush. It was extravagant to use paper so luxuriantly when wooden slips were still in use. As the loach-mustached doctor came to have a look at what she was doing, the eunuch closed the door. It seems the eunuch's name was Gao Shun. Gao Shun was the one who fetched the things from the high drawers for her. His boss did nothing. Go somewhere else if you don't know crap, Mao Mao thought expressionlessly. When she recognized the name on the highest drawer, Mao Mao leaned up towards it. Gao Shun made an inexplicable reaction when he saw what he handed over. Some kind of seed laid on her palm.
Is this amount enough?
In that case, the only thing we can do is to prepare more.
The good-looking man, who did nothing but smile and watch on uselessly, told her simply,
This is something from the West, in particular, the southern regions of the far West.
You might find it if we search the imported goods.
Jinshi pinched the seed. It looked like an apricot seed and emitted a peculiar aroma.
What is this called?
Mao Mao answered the young man's question.
It's cacao.
Your skills are better than I expected.
Jinshi said to Mao Mao in astonishment.
I didn't think it was going to go this far either.
She was somewhat stunned at the scene before her eyes.
Yeah, that's true.
There was none of that usual pointlessly bright smile. He just looked extremely tired.
How did it turn out this way?
For that, they had to go back a couple of hours. The cacao that was delivered came not as the seed, but in the powdered form. Mao Mao carried all the other requested ingredients to the kitchen of the Jade Palace. The 3 attendants had watched her out of curiosity, but returned to their respective workstations after Honyun reprimanded them. Milk, butter, sugar, honey, fruits dried in distilled liquor, aromatic herb oil. They were all high-class items with high nutritional value. At the same time, they could also be used as the ingredients to make a tonic. Mao Mao had only tried cacao once. The prostitute who gave her the chocolate said that it was something refined into a powder, mixed with sugar and solidified. Though the piece was the size of her fingertip, eating it made her feel like she had drunk strong liquor. She had become strangely cheerful. It was something a wicked guest gave to garner the interest of a popular courtesan by saying it was an unusual confectionery. Regrettably, the courtesan got angry when she saw the Mao Mao who looked out of sorts, and the guest ended up getting banned by the madam. Since then, there were times where she got her hands on a couple of those seeds, but she didn't treat them as a medicine. A pharmacist of the Pleasure District had no customers who requested such a high-class item. The chocolate from her memory was something that had been hardened with fat. Mao Mao, who can perfectly remember the scent and taste of medicines and poisons, had a clear memory of its ingredients. As the season was still hot, Mao Mao didn't think that butter would set properly. So, she decided to use the chocolate to cover the fruits. It would be perfect if there was ice, but of course, that was something impossible to obtain. As a substitute, she prepared a large unglazed jug and filled it halfway with water. Water evaporation will make the inside a couple of degrees cooler than the open air, just cold enough for the fat to set. Mao Mao put a spoonful of the mixture in her mouth. Bitterness, sweetness, and a component that lifted her emotions passed through her tongue. Mau Mau, who became strong with alcohol and poisons, didn't feel as high as she did before in the past. Nonetheless, she could feel a strong effect.
Maybe it's better if I make them a little smaller.
She cut the fruits in half and dipped them in the brown liquid. Then she laid them on a plate and finished off by placing them inside a container that could float inside the jug. She capped the jug and hid it under the straw mat. Now the only thing left was to wait for it to harden. By the time Jinshi comes to pick it up in the evening, they should be already set.
There's a little left over.
There was still some of that brown liquid left. The ingredients were very high-class items and were also high in nutritional value. Although it was a love potion, seeing as it wasn't that effective to Mau Mau, she decided to eat it later. She cut up a loaf of bread and soaked it in it. This way, there was no need for cooling. She covered it and left it on the shelf. She packed up the leftover ingredients in her room and went to the pool outside to wash up. That time, it completely escaped her mind that she should have brought the cut bread into her room as well. It might have been because she was a little high from the tasting. Well, it was too late by then. Afterwards, she was entrusted a job by Hanyun. The incident occurred while she was getting into the flow of harvesting the medicinal herbs that grew outside. She was smugly holding on to a laundry basket of herbs when she saw a blue-faced Hanyun and a gloomy consort Gyokyu waiting for her. As Gao Xun was also there, Jin Shi should also have come. Hanyun, who was pressing her forehead, pointed Mau Mau to the kitchen. Mau Mau pushed her basket to Gao Xun and went towards the scene of the crime. Jin Shi was looking there with an amazed expression. There were 3 attendants fast asleep, affectionately embracing each other. Their breast areas were bared, skirts were turned up to their calves. Everyone had flushed, content faces. Before the act or after the act, insolent words passed through her head, but she tried not to think about it. Rather, she didn't want to think about it. Well, because they were all women, the worst-case scenario didn't happen. Maybe. The brown bread was on the table. 3 pieces were missing. After Hanyun, Gao Xun, and Mau Mau carried the attendants to their respective rooms to sleep, the exhaustion caught up to her. In the living room, Consort Gyokyu and Jin Shi were looking at the chocolate bread with curiosity.
Is this the aphrodisiac we talked about?
No, that would be this.
Mau Mau presented the thing that covered the fruits. There were around 30 grains, about the size of her thumbnail.
Then what's that?
My supper.
Evidently, everyone was taken aback as though she said something wrong. Gao Xun and Hanyun looked at her as if she was a strange person.
I've gotten used to alcohol and stimulants, so it doesn't have much of an effect on me.
Mau Mau was a heavy drinker, as she once drank alcohol seeped in snake poison as an experiment. She categorized alcohol as a type of drug. Jin Shi picked up the bread and stared at it intently.
Then there shouldn't be a problem for me if I eat it.
Please stop that!
Their voices overlapped. This was her first time hearing Gao Xun's voice. Jin Shi put the bread back onto the plate, saying that it was a joke. Certainly, tasting a love potion in front of the Emperor's favorite consort would be disrespectful. But even with that mistake, anyone would be capable of straying from common sense if a celestial maiden's beautiful face ever drew close with flushed cheeks.
Shall we make it for the Emperor next time? To spice it up, even.
I believe it's 3 times the effectiveness of the usual tonic.
3 times?
Perhaps a means to continue. Consort Gyokyu decided in a quiet voice on something that couldn't be heard. How intense. Mao Mao transferred the love potion to a container with the lid and handed it to Jinshi.
Please aim to have 1 grain at a time, as it is very effective. It would cause the blood to overcirculate, so I think you'll get a nosebleed if you overeat it. Again, please use it when you're alone together with your partner you have in mind.
When she finished with the precautions, Jinshi stood up. Gao Xun and Hanyan left the room, getting ready to return. Kanzor Gyokyu also took a bow, leaving the room with the sleeping princess in the basket. When Mao Mao was about to put away the plate of bread, she smelled a sweet scent from behind.
Thank you for making something that was better than I expected.
She could hear a sweet, honey-like voice. She felt something cold touch her neck as her hair was swept up. When she looked over her shoulders, Jinshi was leaving the room, waving one hand.
I see.
There was one less piece of bread on the plate when she looked away. The aim of the criminal was on point.
It'll be good if there are no victims.
Mao Mao muttered about other people's affairs. The night was still young.
Woo!
Yay!
And with that,
Hooray.
that's the first half. How's everyone feeling?
Nice.
Feeling good?
Feeling great, yes, yes.
I can't believe Jinshi was like, you know what? Let me take it. I know what it's gonna do to me. Let me take it.
Gimme.
I want it.
Gotta try.
I'm
Gotta
going
see what it's
to.
like.
I'm going to get up for like a minute. Just go to the toilet, get a little break. You guys feel free to fill the air with whatever you like.
Okay.
All right.
So how about this weather,
Okay,
huh?
time to be entertaining.
Yeah.
Cereal,
Yeah,
super
the
not,
weather-
go.
Ugh.
So what's the deal with airplane food? Am I right?
True. What do you call a magic owl? Houdini.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
Get it?
I never
'Cause
actually
owls
had
go
airplane food, but I'm going to have to in the near future. Is it as bad as everyone says?
No.
It depends on like every single factor, like which airline you're flying with, where you're going, what class you're in.
Just don't
Right, good
expect
to know.
much.
So I have no idea what to expect.
Oof, I've never been on a plane, and I don't think I want to. I'm not gonna lie.
it's
After
pretty
hearing what
okay.
happened with my local city, there was a crash recently over the weekend, and it was not the best. Not the best.
Yeah, those happen.
They do, yeah.
I've
But
only ever
I'm
been-
gonna have to if I want to go out of country. So one day.
Yeah, I've only ever been on a plane between different countries in Europe, so, you know, not particularly far. But I am going to Japan very soon, so that is...
Ooh, have fun, have
Well, that's-
fun.
Yeah, so you're gonna be
Oh,
eating
wait,
on that
thanks.
plane.
Have fun.
My favorite
I
manga's
almost...
getting a...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. My favorite manga is getting a musical adaptation, and I refuse to miss it.
Nice.
So...
Nice.
Yeah, I almost got to go Japan, but we were planning on going in the summer of 2020, and we all remember what happened that year. So
Yeah.
Nothing of note. I
Everything-
don't remember any bad worldwide event happening. No
I
sort of
remember a little bit of
Luckily,
snow, a little bit of rain.
I bought the travel insurance, so we got pretty much all the money back. So
That's good.
I still have my itinerary saved. Someday
One day.
I'll get back in there.
It was crazy when the pandemic was happening. It was just never ending.
Yeah.
Ugh, constant.
And then 3 of my kids were school, and they were on spring break, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, spring break is going to last till the summer. It's like, crap, we need more laptops.
Oh.
It's actually gonna last for like another whole year.
Yeah, online learning was an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minion number 3 did not have a good time with it. His ADHD would not allow him to focus at all.
Yeah.
he had a tough time.
You know, I'm not diagnosed with ADHD, but I suspect I might have it. And I will say, I do a lot better focusing in classrooms than I do online, and the lockdowns were...
Yeah.
Although I did like not having to talk to people.
Yeah, that was a bonus.
So it does stunt a lot of the kids' social growth.
Yeah. And it was when he was in kindergarten, too, so he ended up having to repeat kindergarten because it's like he did not learn what he needs to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, they advanced him to first grade, but once we moved, I went to the school that they were going to finish the year out, and it's like, look, I know it says he's in first grade. I really don't think he's ready. Can we roll it back a bit? They're like, yeah, we can do that. It's like, thank you.
Are we ready to start the next 3 chapters?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yay.
Whenever
All right.
you are ready, Taildy, take us away.
All right. Chapter 10, Ghost Panic, Part 1. Today as well, Yinghua, an attendant serving the favored consort Gyokyo, will work with wholehearted devotion. The other day, she committed the disgrace of sleeping on the job, but consort Gyokyo, her master, did not even reprimand her. If that was the case, she had no other option than to personally serve. She will thoroughly clean from every single window frame down to the handrails. Originally, this sort of act was unbecoming for an attendant, but even so, Yinghua will conduct herself as a maidservant. After all, Consort Gyokyo had said that she loves hard workers. She entered the kitchen to organize the tea utensils. The new attendant was making something. Her name was Mao Mao, but since she rarely spoke, Yinghua wasn't sure what kind of person she was. Only that hearing that the girl had scars on her arm from abuse, sold, and was now employed as the food tasting expert was unbelievably unbearable. Yinghua had increased the girl's meals to fatten up her skinny body and didn't allow her to sweep, seeing how pitiful it was to see her exposed scars. The other 2 attendants also thought the same way. As a result, Mao Mao didn't have many jobs to do.
This is fine.
The head attendant Honyan said that this wasn't enough and assigned Mao Mao to do the washing. As washing only required her to carry the basket, the scars on her arms won't stand out. It seems she was also entrusted to do other small tasks.
What are you making?
There were herb-like things boiling in the pot.
Cold medicine.
She stated the absolute minimum of what she needed to say. Surely, she's probably not good at socializing due to the after effects of abuse, Yinghua thought, tearing up. As the new attendant's knowledge of medicine was extensive, she made it this way sometimes. Yinghua had nothing to say about that, as the girl cleaned after herself perfectly, and Yinghua had recently received medicine for dry skin that was useful. Occasionally, it seems that Honyan requested her to make medicines as well. Yinghua took out the silver teacups and meticulously polished them with a dry cloth. Mao Mao didn't speak much, but she was a good listener, someone worth talking to. Yinghua told her about the strange rumor that had been going around recently. The rumors of a white woman who danced in midair. Mao Mao headed for the medical office, bringing along the laundry basket and the cold medicine she finished making with her. Just in case, she wanted to get the doctor's judgment, even merely for form's sake.
An incident from a month ago?
Mao Mao tilted her head at the conventional, bizarre tale. This was yet another rumor she has never heard of before coming here. Xiaolon had told her everything she had known as far as rumors went, so Mao Mao knew that this was a recent one. The inner palace was surrounded by a wall. There was a deep moat on the other side of the wall, and the only way to get in and out of the place was through the 4 directional gates. It was impossible to escape or raid the palace. It was said that a consort who had attempted to break out of the inner palace was still sleeping under the deep moat even now.
Near the castle gates. Ah.
There should be no buildings close by, only a pine forest.
It was from the end of summer. Yeah.
It was harvest time for seasonal items. As bad thoughts came to her head, she heard a detestable voice as if she was being targeted.
Good work.
Mama maintained an expressionless face at that gorgeous, peony-like smile.
No, not really.
The medical office was near the central gate in the south. The parlors of the 3 departments that governed the inner palace were also set up here. Jinchi usually showed up there. As a eunuch, he should be in the department of inner servants, but this man was not attached to any room. Rather, he looked over everything like an overseer.
His position is higher than the chief palace official? Huh.
It was possible he was the protector of the current emperor, but it was hard to imagine that for a young man who looked around 20 years of age. There was no reason for him to specially become a eunuch if he was the emperor's son either. It was also believable that he was the protector of Consort Gyokyo, seeing as they were close. Rather,
The Emperor's mistress?
whenever the emperor visited, he looked straight as far as what Mao Mao saw with him being friendly with Consort Gyokyo. But you can't judge a person by their appearance. It was troublesome to think of such things, so let's settle it with him being the emperor's lover for the time being.
You look like you're thinking of something extremely rude.
Are you sure you're not imagining it?
She bowed once and turned around. When she entered the medical office, she saw the loach mustache quack doctor was rigidly grinding the mortar. Mao Mao knew that, in this case, the doctor wasn't making medicine, but wasting time. Otherwise, it would be pointless for him to give away half the medicine he made every time. At the start, it seemed that he thought of Mao Mao was a little girl who didn't know what she was doing. But his attitude gradually eased after he saw the medicines she made. Nowadays, he took out tea snacks, and it reached the point where he would give portions of essential ingredients to her. But that wasn't a very good thing for a court physician to do. He really doesn't have confidentiality, or whatever it was.
Can you look at this medicine for me?
Oh, if it isn't the last. One moment.
He prepared tea snacks and blended tea. There were rice crackers instead of sweet buns. Mao Mao, the drinker, was happy. Recently, it felt like she'd been forced to eat various things. Although he was a quack, he was a good person. Though his personality was good, he was the type who was bad at his job.
I want a share of that too.
It was a sweet, willowy voice. Even without looking back, for some reason, it felt like the air around her completely brightened up. The quack doctor, with a look of surprise and elation, replaced the long-awaited rice crackers and blended tea, and brought out white tea and mooncakes.
Not the rice crackers.
The one with a brilliant smile sat beside her. She refused to sit with him because of their difference in social status, but he forcibly pinned down her shoulders. Mama winced. That overbearing action was completely unlike his gentle appearance.
Doctor, I'm sorry, but can you get this for me?
Jinshi handed over a scrap of paper. Even from afar, Mao Mao could see that there was a considerable number of ingredients written on it. It would take a while to collect. The quack doctor squinted and went into the back room in disappointment.
He plans this out from the start. What do you really want to talk about?
Mau Mau, who was good at guessing, asked that as she shook the teacup.
Do you know about the ghost panic?
As far as rumors go.
Then, do you know about sleepwalking?
Jinchi did not overlook the glint that settled on the edge of Mau Mau's eyes. There was evilness mixed in the celestial maiden's laughter. His large palm stroked Mau Mau's cheeks.
How would you go about curing that?
He inquired, voice like sweet, sweet cider. Chapter 11, Ghost Panic, Part 2.
I know nothing about such things.
Mau Mau replied. She wasn't being modest, but it was to not be perceived as overconfident. She knew what kind of illness it was. She had also seen patients with it. That was why she had said so.
It's not a disease you can cure with medicine.
It was a psychosomatic disease. When the brothel's prostitutes were suffering from this disease, her dad didn't prescribe them any medicine. It wasn't something that can be cured with medicine after all.
And you say that it can't be cured by medicine. What can cure it then?
My expertise is drugs.
Though she meant to declare it, from a fleeting glance in her peripheral vision, she saw the gloominess that suffused his heavenly face.
We mustn't make eye contact.
She averted from the young man's gaze as if she were handling a wild animal. She was unable to avert. He came around towards Mau Mau. He was quite persistent, quite annoying.
I'll make an effort.
She replied, extremely reluctantly. The one who came around at midnight was the eunuch, Gaoshan. Though she thought he would be hard to get along with, his quietness and poker face, Mau Mau actually felt a wave of affinity towards him.
He really doesn't seem like a eunuch.
It was common for eunuchs, having their physical yang parts removed, to become more feminine. Their body hair thins, their personalities become calm, and in exchange for libido, they gain appetites for food, and it becomes easy for them to put on weight. The easiest to understand as an example is the quack doctor. In the case of Gaoshan, while his hair wasn't dense, he was tough. If he was not in a place like the Inner Palace, he could be mistaken for a military officer.
Why did he choose this path?
She knew that this wasn't something she should ask, even if she was curious. She clamped her mouth shut and shook her head. Gaoshan led the way with a lantern in one hand. It was a half moon, but it was bright with no clouds. The inside of the palace she had only seen at noon was like a different place. Sometimes there were rustling sounds. She heard sounds of heavy breathing from the shade of the tree somehow, but she decided to ignore it. Well, as the imperial court had no actual men aside from the emperor, it was inevitable for the form of love to be warped.
Mau Mau Sama.
I don't need an honorific. Gaoshan Sama's rank is higher.
Then Xiao Mao.
Why are you suddenly adding Xiao?
This old man is unexpectedly casual, Mau Mau thought as she nodded.
Would it be okay if you don't look at Jinchi Sama like you would look at a pest?
Have I been exposed?
Her facial expressions had been conspicuous recently. It seemed she couldn't completely hide her impudence. Though she thought her head wasn't going to roll at present, she must have self-restraint. For Mr. Big Shot, it should be Mau Mau who was the insect.
Today as well, I go back and he tells me that she looked at me like she would a slug.
Certainly, he is clingy, and I find his clinginess gross.
Reporting everything was also clingy.
Shuddering while smiling with glistening eyes. That would be what you'd call self-satisfaction, right?
He beseeched her to reply extremely seriously to the words that could only bring about a misunderstanding. Instead, this dropped her evaluation of that guy from worm down to trash.
I'll take care from now.
Indeed, because people without immunity can't help but swoon with one glance. It is troublesome to deal with.
His deep sigh was rife with his troubles. They arrived at the eastern gate as he was talking about dreadful hardships. The castle walls were around 4 times the height of Mau Mau. Outside, there was a deep moat and a bridge, which was lowered for the transport of food supplies and materials, and sometimes when maidservants got replaced. Escaping from the inner palace held the meaning of capital punishment. Palace guards were always stationed at the gates. The interior had 2 eunuchs, while the exterior had 2 military officers. The gates were double. The guard room could be entered from either side of the gates. 2 oxen were bred to raise and lower the drawbridge as human power was inadequate. Mau Mau was driven with the urge to go look for things in the expansive pine forest, but with Gaoshen here, there was no way of that coming true. So she sat down at the gazebo in the garden. It appeared there with the half-moon in the background. The figure of a woman in white, dancing in midair. She was clad in a long gown and a shawl, standing on the top of the castle wall, dancing. Her gown swayed, her shawl undulating like it was alive. Her long black hair shone amidst the darkness. The faint outlines of her figure stood out. It was a beauty that couldn't be of this world. It was a wondrous spectacle that seemed to have gone astray from the peach blossom spring.
Moonlight Fuyo.
Suddenly, those words passed through her head. For an instant, Gaoshen looked surprised. Then he muttered to himself,
He is quick to understand.
The woman's name was Fuyo, a middle-ranking consort, the princess to be bestowed for merit in the coming month. Chapter 12, Ghost Panic, Part 3. Sleepwalking was not a properly understood disease. Even though they were asleep, they moved about as though they were awake. If there was any cause to speak of, it would be the discord of the heart. No matter how many medicinal herbs were brewed, it was futile. A certain courtesan had been afflicted with that disease. She was a cheerful woman who was good at writing poetry. The talks of redemption had come up for her. However, that talk was broken off. She ambled through the brothel every night as if she was possessed. When the madam tried to stop the courtesan who had been walking around, she got scratched. The next day, everyone in the brothel came to press her about her erratic behavior. What the courtesan said in her cheerful voice was this.
Oh my! Everyone, what happened?
The bare feet of the woman, who had no memory of the night before, were covered in dirt and cuts. What happened next? Jinshi and Mau Mau were in the sitting room. Gaoshen and consort Gyokyo were also there. The imperial princess had been entrusted to Honyan.
Nothing. When the talks of redemption died off, her wandering also stopped.
So, could you mean that she hated the redeeming talk?
Possibly. The other party was a wealthy patron, but he had not just a wife and children, but even grandchildren. Moreover, If she worked for another year, her term of service would be over.
If she was redeemed by a person she didn't like, it seemed that she would rather endure one more year of service. As a result, that prostitute had no more new talks of redeeming and was later freed from her service.
As there are many who wander after they have extreme stress, you can give them a combination of calming drugs and scents, but, well, you only calm them down.
Mau Mau had prescribed it for these patients instead of her dad.
Is there anything after that?
Jinchi rested his hands on his chin, looking amused. At his persistent gaze, she held back the contempt that was going to show on her face. Gaoshan wordlessly sensed support beside her.
After that, I return to work, so excuse me.
She bowed once and left the room. Rewinding a short period of time. The day after the ghost inspection, Mau Mau went to see Xiaolan, the talkative girl from the east side. Every time Mau Mau met up with her, the palace lady would pry into consort Gyokyo, so Mau Mau asked her about the matter with the ghost in exchange for innocuous news. The ghostly affair started sometime before the half moon. Apparently, the first sighting was at the north side. After that, before long, it became that she was sighted on the east side, and then every night. The palace guards were scared of the ghost story, so they did nothing. At present, there were no damages, so it seems no one had tried to do anything about it. What a bunch of useless guards. The next place she went to was the quack doctor's place. In a time period where there was no such thing as personal information, the man who doesn't understand confidentiality will even talk to her about things she had never asked about. Recently, it was about the uncheerful Princess Fuyo. She was one who wasn't about to attain the position of a high-ranking consort while being titled as a princess, the third one of a small vassal state that could scatter at a breath. She had a building on the north side. She danced as a hobby, but was timid and easily nervous. She made a mistake when she had an audience with the emperor. Excluding her dancing, there was nothing about her that stood out in particular. Apparently, 2 years after entering court, she had yet to be picked by His Imperial Majesty. This time, as she was to be bestowed to her childhood friend, a military officer, she would be finding happiness.
I see.
Something clicked into place in Mau Mau's head. However, what would happen if she said something that didn't go beyond the level of speculation?
Dad said that you shouldn't say things you guessed.
That was why she decided not to say it. The docile, fair-skinned princess passed through the central gates with flushed cheeks. Although she didn't have looks that stood out, everyone lamented at the face that was glowing with happiness. They would be grateful if they were bestowed this way. That scene spread out. Isn't it fine to talk to me at least? Consort Gyokyo, who smiled charmingly, was a mother of one child despite her actual age being not even 20 years old. She had a slight tomboyish smile. Mau Mau pondered for a second.
This is a guess at most. Also, I don't want to sour your mood.
I'll hear it for myself. I won't get angry.
Not a word to anyone then.
My lips are sealed. Mau Mau told her about the story of a sleepwalking courtesan. It was different to the story she told before Jinchi and the others a couple of days ago, the story of another sleepwalker. Similar to the courtesan from before, she got ill due to the redeeming talks that came up and got cancelled. However, the sleepwalking didn't stop after that. Prescribing medicine like last time didn't calm her down. A new redeeming talk came up for that courtesan. The brothel owner couldn't bring themselves to allow an ill person to be redeemed. But even so, she wanted to be redeemed. Reluctantly, the courtesan was agreed to a contract that was half the amount of silvers of the previous redeeming talk.
I only understood what happened later, but this was fraud.
Fraud? The man from the previous redeeming talk was an acquaintance of the man who came afterwards. When he understood that the courtesan was faking her illness, he canceled it. And then, the destined man redeemed her for half the amount.
The courtesan still has her terms of service left. The man's redeeming silver was not enough to pay for it.
So, you're saying this courtesan is the same as Princess Fuyou? The childhood friend, the military officer, didn't have the social position to propose to a princess of a vassal nation. He had planned to come for the princess one day by going up the ranks through a feat of arms. However, due to politics, the princess was made to enter the inner palace. The princess, who had feelings for the military officer, failed at her specialty, dancing, so she wouldn't attract the attention of the emperor. Sure enough, her body stayed pure during the 2 years she didn't sleep with anyone. Around the time the childhood friend collected his feat of arms and had Princess Fuyou bestowed to him at his next merit, it reached the point where the princess was wandering about suspiciously. It was so that the emperor would never think Princess Fuyou deserved better and pick her. Were she to be chosen, the bestowing will be postponed. Princess Fuyou, who prized her maidenhood, wouldn't be able to face her childhood friend again if she slept with another. Her dancing at the East Gate was for the sake of prayers to her childhood friend who was coming back for the sake of a prayer that he comes back unharmed.
This is nothing more than a guess.
How do I say this? Since it could be true concerning the Emperor, I won't say anything. The favored consort looked slightly troubled. She was unable to say that the lecherous Emperor didn't hold any interest in the princess, who desired the military officer to that extent. If I say that I'm jealous of Fuyou, would I be a cruel woman?
I don't think so.
Though she thought the theory was coherent, she didn't feel like telling Jinshi, since he'll certainly be happier that way. She wanted to keep that tender, simple smile as it is. It seemed that the problem was completely solved, but in truth, there was still one mystery that remained.
How did she get up there?
Mamo tilted her head, looking up at the walls that surrounded her on all four sides. And that's the end. We made it. Woo! Huzzah!
Pachi pachi. Good job, everyone.
Yay!
Hooray!
Hooray.
Oh my god, everybody did amazing. Holy shit.
We just ignore
I
me
did
accidentally skipping a line of narration and just.
It's fine.
It's okay. I
It
rolled with it. I got you.
worked. It worked.
Okay.
That was so fun. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too.
100% yes.
Ooh.
It was so fun with my one line.
Yeah, that was great.
Hey, even with that one line, you did magnificent, brother. Oh my god.
Don't you worry.
My time to shine!
Don't you
If I
worry.
mess this up, then it's screwed. 'Cause
Sometimes it's worse when you only have one line because you're like, don't miss it, don't miss it, don't miss it, don't
Don't mess it up, don't mess it up.
Don't screw it up, don't screw it up, don't screw it up.
what I did on the audition, like to go make sure I did the voice correctly.
I'll give you more next week. That you are.
Yes, more work. More work.
Yay!
That being
Yeah.
said,
I'm just glad our malfunctioning smoke alarm decided to be nice to me and not go off while I was unmuted. Because we thought we fixed it
That was
yesterday,
nice.
but during the second half it started again.
Oh no! So he just like, please be good.
You might. Did you hear that? I don't know how audible. I don't know if the mic's picking it up, but it is kind of going right now.
at least on
No,
my
I
end,
don't
I
hear
can't
it.
hear anything.
Yeah.
It's not like a constant thing. It's just like one beep every like 30 seconds. But
Yeah, just that little chirp, like, "Hey, replace my battery. Do it now."
but we did that.
Are you still grumpy for no reason?
With that being said,
Unplug it, burn it, fire.
Yeah, that's what I do.
thank you so much, everyone, for coming.
Yeah,
Of
no worries.
course.
You
Thank you
guys
for having
did
us.
great, and I hope chat enjoyed as well.
Yep.
With that being said, I think we're gonna end it for now. However, we will be back next week with more. It's gonna be
Yay!
fun. Yeah, thank you so much for coming.